Alright, the Gladiator situation is honestly terrible. This is just looking like a really bad time for the game, and here's why. So first off, let's talk about Gladiator's first reviews. Pretty much none of them are that good. Yeah, like, a lot of people just don't like this character, because first of all, people didn't want him in the game. I mean, of course they did, right? Like, that's why he won the vote, but the White Tiger fans are much more vocal than the Gladiator fans, so that's already a big negative connotation for Gladiator. And additionally, they have the right to, like, be negative about him because his kit, his overall damage output, and just his overall value doesn't really seem like all that much. So Gladiator is kind of flopping right now. As like I'm making this video, he is kind of flopping. Like, there are more supporters of him being terrible than there are supporters of him being good. And that's not a fun time, right? I don't like that at all. I wish that he was a bit better because I honestly feel like he is just a average champion. I don't think he is anything too top tier, and that's bad because he is the Summoner's Choice champion. And here's what makes it even worse. Gladiator is pretty much the only new character this month. The next champion to come after Gladiator is Iron Man, who a lot of people have as a 6-star champion already. So let's say Gladiator just flops on sales, because right now, it's not looking too pretty, man. It's not looking too pretty at all. So let's say that happens, which is honestly a good chance that that occurs. Then to make up for his sales, they have to rely on Iron Man. Now, Iron Man is probably going to do worse than Gladiator because he is an older champion that is getting reworked, but we already have the 6-star version of him. So it really just doesn't look too good here, and the worst part is, if Gladiator flops and Iron Man flops because of Gladiator's, like, you know, presence, then this month of like an overhauled champion and a new champion might not happen for a very long time, which is the worst thing ever, man, because I want more months like this. I just wish that the champion that was completely new was a bit better overall. So that's just my thoughts on this issue that is really not fun. Of course, this is just speculation. He might turn out super good. The sales might turn out super good, which I'm hoping for, right? But let's just talk about Gladiator himself now. So first up, a quick damage test. So for a cosmic character, Gladiator's damage output is honestly below average. And that is surprising because when I first played him, I thought it was pretty decent. But when you compare it to a lot of cosmic characters, it does fall short of being anything too spectacular. Of course, it's not top tier, but now the argument is it even average? And honestly, it looks like it is barely scraping average. So that's something, right? But here's the thing. Damage output isn't always everything. Utility can make up for it 1000%, but more on that later. But this fight is pretty slow. Gladiator he's weird, DPS-wise. His DPS is split across like 4 things. His basic hits, his physical burst damage, his special attack retaliation, and the incinerates, right? All those things combined to make Gladiator a damage dealer, right? But I guess it just didn't do enough. Like, it isn't enough to make him a super strong damage dealer. But that was about 1 minute and 1 second. Or 1 minute and 2 seconds, sorry. Now let's compare this to some other champions. So first up is Vox, who is a 2023 cosmic character and just has a lot better damage output, to be honest. So Vox, he's pretty simple to play. Just drop the SP1, drop the SP2, game over pretty much. Nothing too complicated, and he's honestly a super strong DPS. I think he's one of the best this year when it comes to damage output. And yeah, maybe it's not a fair comparison, but for a cosmic character, they are known for damage output, so this should be the standard for most cosmic characters. I know it might not seem unique, but the way you can do damage is what makes a champion unique. For example, Vox here is still super unique because he has different damage to other cosmics. He is a degen DPS, which is super unheard of in the cosmic class. So that was like 6 seconds or something? A lot faster overall than Gladiator. And now let's check out Cersei, Now, Cersei is primarily a defender, but even she has damage output because the Cosmic class is a damage output class. So let's check this out here. Cersei, by the way, fantastic character, ton of value on attack and defense, so I think she is, of course, better than Gladiator. But yeah, just a quick shout out to her, man. So underappreciated and just so good. So watch this. I go in, I drop the SP2, and the damage output is honestly pretty spicy, man. I forgot Cersei, like, really hits hard. Like, really hard. 50,000 right there, like 13,000 mediums. It's looking pretty good, man. It's looking pretty good. Then I drop the SP1, and that just ends the fight. And that was about 42 seconds for Cersei there, who is not even known for her damage output. She is known for being a defender. And now we have Angela here, who also isn't known for damage output. She is known for her utility. So these characters aren't even like known for damage output, and they have either more value than Gladiator on defense, or they have more utility overall like Angela. And if they can outdamage him, then of course that is a problem, right? I feel like that is a problem for sure. But let's check out Angela here. Simple rotation, one of the easiest champions to play in the game. Just a 10 out of 10 when it comes to ease of use, and then an extra 10 out of 10 for utility. So yeah, Angela just super strong, man. Such a strong champion overall. And she is now a 7-star too, so that's pretty exciting. And this fight is pretty much over after this SP1. And yeah, not too bad on her end either. Keep in mind, Angela is utility based. She is not a focused damage dealer. And that was like, what, 40 something seconds too? So the cosmic average is probably like 50 seconds, right? So Gladiator, a bit above that, even during his best fight, like the best AI ever, probably just barely makes that 50-second cutoff. So I would say that Gladiator is barely an average cosmic damage dealer. That's just my thoughts though. And now let's talk about his utility, because damage isn't everything, and utility can save a champion from, their average damage output. But here's my issue. It's just so standard. For a 2023 Cosmic character, it really just is basic. So he has immunity to power, burn, and drain. Really common these days, unfortunately. Has access to a vigilance, which is also really common. Like Vox, the last Cosmic character, literally had that same exact thing. So nothing too special there either. He has Cold Snap, which for a Cosmic character, I do admit, is really good. So that is a great addition to his utility kit. And additionally has Intimidate and Unblockable. So that's good for fight control for sure. I feel like it is a pretty good thing to have for a Gladiator because it lets him control the fight a lot better. So utility wise, honestly is decent, right? He has a decent kit for sure, but is it enough to offset the damage output? I'm not too sure about that. So what are the issues with Gladiator? Why is he getting so much hate? Well, one, the damage output in comparison to other Cosmic characters is a bit on the lacking side. I think it is just average at best, and the Cosmic class is the damage class, right? And even the utility focused characters still have that really strong damage output. So of course that is just a massive problem. I know that he wanted to be like a unique Cosmic character, but having low damage output isn't the right way of doing that in my opinion. And additionally, the utility is pretty standard for 2023, and it isn't enough to offset that damage output in my opinion. Like, he needs either more damage output or just an even better utility kit to help offset that, average damage. Additionally, his damage output, his main focus of it is based off of the opponent's special attack. Like, if the opponent has like 4 pauses during their special attack, then he becomes pretty crazy in that regard. But if they just have 1 pause and that's it, then of course he will just lack damage output even further. So having him depend on like animations is already super annoying. And if the opponent has like some DOT or something that Gladiator isn't immune to, then he also just gets wrecked on their special attack. So it doesn't feel like really thought out in my opinion. That's just my thoughts about that though. But honestly, Gladiator is still really fun to play. I think he is a pretty fun champion, and despite all of his really noticeable issues, still has like that really fun vibe. So I like Gladiator, but of course there are a lot of issues with him, and it stinks because there isn't a second champion to save his like inevitable flop when it comes to sales, right? Because Iron Man is gonna do even worse probably. So this just isn't a fun time, as I say. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on Gladiator. Do you disagree? Do you think that he's honestly a great champion and that he is one of the best this year? I think he is the worst Cosmic this year, pretty much. I think Vox is incredible. I think Adam Warlock is super, super good. And Gladiator just didn't live up to both of those champions' hype. So it is what it is, man. Rebalancing is a thing. Maybe he'll get rebalanced. I don't know. But as of now, this was probably the biggest flop of the year so far. Like, there was a lot of hype, and I guess it just didn't really deliver. And yeah, that's about it for me.